We are now officially just 170 days away from the release of Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker, that is all set and ready to end the sequel trilogy and the Skywalker saga itself by director J.J. Abrams. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel for future Star Wars content. Now, I think it's pretty safe to say that by far, one of the most mysterious characters based within the sequel trilogy has got to be no other than Supreme Leader Snoke himself, and we do know that we will be learning more about the origins of the First Order, as well as little tidbits of Snoke's backstory in The Rise of Skywalker by JJ that's really going to make us view both The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi in a different light. Now, these past couple of weeks or so, we've been learning a whole lot more about this film, and when it all comes down to one of the concept art descriptions, this is where things begin to get very exciting for Episode 9. Now, specifically, what's really intriguing about all of this is that a description of Kylo Ren and his Knights of Ren entering of what's described to be an abandoned First Order base that is said to have been the original headquarters before Kylo Ren joined. It's said that Kylo and the Knights of Ren eventually make their way into Snoke's vault that is said to contain many of his personal items that were left behind. One of the sequences is said to involve Kylo Ren activating an old holo projector that plays a hologram message of Snoke that went out to Darth Sidious during the events of Episode 6, where it's described that Snoke warned Sidious to not search for him, or only conflict and destruction will follow. It's said to be a threat by Snoke to Sidious after Palpatine sent out an army into the unknown regions to discover the dark entity and what kind of threat he would be to the Empire. Though it's said that Snoke's message never reached Palpatine since it was too late as he died by the hands of Darth Vader on the Death Star 2. Snoke's appearance in the hologram is said to be similar to Darth Maul's in Solo, where it's somewhat colored, where Snoke is wearing a black hood over his head and sitting on a throne. Snoke also explains in the message that he had destroyed Palpatine's forces that were searching for him to learn more about Snoke. This is all said to take place during the events of the infancy of the First Order. So let's go over a couple of parts about this, because we do know that Episode 9 really is going to deliver when it comes to all of the different revelations in this film. So Snoke actually sending out a message to Palpatine indicates that these two characters mentally connected. It does make sense since reading some of the novels that fall under Disney, such as Aftermath and Empire's End, you name it. So the fact that Snoke sent out this message and never reached Palpatine, because it must have just reached him, obviously, during his death on board of the Death Star 2. Now, what I really like about that is that this really seems like an attempt by J.J. Abrams and Chris to really interconnect the three different Star Wars trilogies based within this saga, to really bring it all together into one big movie. Now, this throne room that is said to be a part of Snoke's headquarters, the First Order headquarters, well before the events of The Force Awakens, and well before Kylo Ren even joined the First Order. So this is actually said to be a location within the headquarters of the First Order. It is said to be Snoke's vault, and contains a lot of Sith relics and artifacts, as well as these different messages that went out by Snoke to Sidious and other characters around the galaxy. So, like I've always said before in the past, there is a very interesting connection between these two characters that were hinted at in some of the books that do exist under Disney, and that are going to be explained in Episode 9 in greater depth. Now, this also lines directly up with how J.J. Abrams wants to really use the books and the novels and the comics as source and inspirational material, to really use that as a form of storytelling in Episode 9. Now, this is all said to take place within the second act of the film, where Kylo Ren and his Knights of Ren go on a personal mission to discover new secrets of the origins of the First Order, as well as the origins of the dark side of the Force. And that's exactly where they learn more about Snoke and his backstory. So, this really seems like JJ is very, I guess you could say, ambitious about the story. He's really aiming high for this movie. He's very goal-driven in order to make this movie the best of the sequel trilogy, which honestly, I think is doable and very much possible. You know, since The Last Jedi and the backlash it received, and how I myself personally had a lot of issues with that film, I feel like that there is no other way than to go up at this point for The Rise of Skywalker. And the fact that JJ really wants to do something incredible and innovative for this movie, to really make it the new Revenge of the Sith, if you will, I think is going to be the landmark for JJ in the sequel trilogy. It really is, because The fact that they are aiming to make this movie not only a return of new lightsaber duels and new space battles and land battles that we have never seen before on the big screen, and being used and utilized in a way that has never been done before in the Star Wars franchise, I think is very exciting. And Daisy Ridley, just yesterday was talking about the film. I don't know if you guys caught that interview, but she said that this movie has by far one of the best lightsaber duels that she has ever seen, and that it is a big and great fight between herself and Kylo. So just as an example when it comes to the action in this movie. As far as Palpatine and Snoke, very intriguing. I cannot wait to find out more once this film lands in theaters come this December of this year. Anyways guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
Gun in hand, we are alone again. No, I'm not the one. From night to moon, we hear them moans again.